Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 811, recorded live on October 26th, 2024. And here are your hosts, the man who really knows how to needle my OCD, Dave Play.
Hi.
And the man who is this close to turning this podcast around and we're going back to home, Andy Lowe. Hi.
Wait, what does that mean in the context of this podcast?
I don't know. We're gonna turn this podcast right around. I'm gonna go home. We're just not gonna go. We're gonna go home.
You're gonna drive out here and we'll record in person, face to face?
No.
On old PS2 headsets?
Hey, I have.
Is that what turning around means?
No, I've got my Plantronics headset. But yes, that was my SEAL Team 6 headset. I think I got with the PS2.
Rainbow 6.
What?
Rainbow 6?
No, it wasn't Rainbow 6.
SEAL Team 6? Was that a game?
Was it SOCOM, maybe?
SOCOM Splinter Cell?
Hold on. No, I don't actually want to look up SOCOM PS2. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, it was SOCOM 2. Came with a headset. Yep, headset bundle box game. Yep, that's how I got the headset that we used. Oh boy.
Sorry, I just had an idea and I need to write it down.
Yep, nope, I had picked that up at GameStop. Came with a headset. And I was like, oh, that could work.
For a podcast.
Yep, I guess so.
Yep, 17 years ago.
God, has it been that long?
Next year, our podcast can vote. Speaking of which, go vote.
Early voting just opened in Michigan.
I'm not afraid to say it. Go vote for Kamala. I think we can officially, we can just say, go vote for Kamala Harris. This is not... I hate sounding like I'm overplaying this, but, I legitimately feel like democracy is on the line.
Yep. No, it's early voting has just opened up for the whole state of Michigan.
Go vote.
I'm going to probably go on Monday to the early voting.
Yep.
So
I have friends who went to early voting today here in Wisconsin, and they stood in line for an hour.
Actually, Kamala was in town today, actually.
Really?
Yes. She'll
be in town here in 3 days.
Nope. They posted I was actually up north, and I told you about how the whole fact that somebody screwed up our network, right?
Yes.
And caused a whole broadcast storm, which took down a lot of the 911 and dispatch centers. So the scuttlebutt is that somebody in the governor's office got wind of this and said, hey, don't do that again.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here.
I mean, that should go without saying.
Yeah, don't
bring down our 911 response system.
Yes, especially when, the Secret Service and everybody else is. I think it was just because of Butler, Pennsylvania, that they really freaked out. Anyway, this week I was actually up at our division meeting up in Traverse City on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Mm-hmm. And word was coming down on Wednesday saying that Kamala Harris was going to be in town on Saturday. And I'm sitting here with most of our department in a room. And so I just go and I'm like, hey, do we know about this? Because there's an actual document that we have keeping track of, what the Secret Service has told us about where people are going to be. So we have a chance to, not break the system.
Break down the system?
Yeah. And I was talking to them. They're like, oh, well, they were debating whether or not to have Kamala show up as a surprise for the U of M MSU football game.
Whoa.
Or, go to Kalamazoo. And I was just like, ooh, having Kamala show up for the Michigan State football game. I mean, you would have quite an audience right there, but
120,000 people, plus everyone watching it on TV.
Yep. Just the logistics of that was too much, though. So it was Kamala and Michelle Obama here in town.
I can't imagine how the Secret Service would want to play that.
They were trying to, not tell anybody and have it as one of those surprise visits.
Right. But
yeah.
Just for no reason whatsoever, security is much tighter on this game. I mean, it is the Michigan State game, so like they might be able to use that and as an excuse of like, we need to search every bag of every person coming in, and once you're in, you can't stay in your seat.
Yeah, no, it just would not have gone over well. So that was the debate. Why? Because I heard it, I saw it on the news. Kate sent me the message about it, and I'm like, how come this hasn't shown up on our sheet yet? And they're like, well, they don't know exactly if they're going to do that or just go straight to Kalamazoo, and they just decided, no, we're not going to touch.
Avoid that.
We're going to avoid Ann Arbor today, and we're just going to go.
Oh my God, the traffic! The traffic's already bad. The city can't handle its own game. And then you put in a vice presidential / presidential candidate motorcade?
Yeah.
I wonder if her detail grew when she was officially nominated.
I don't know.
Does a presidential candidate have more Secret Service protection than the vice president? Probably not.
If I remember correctly, the candidates do not have the same level, but Congress recently passed part of the spending bill, if I remember correctly, that they, because this was after, the 2 assassination attempts on Trump.
Right.
That the presidential candidates are supposed to have then the same level of Secret Service protection as, I think, the president. I'm not sure. There was something about trying to...
That would be so expensive.
Yeah. Service. Enhanced Presidential Security Act of 2024, HR, became Public Law 11891. The Director of the Secret Service shall apply the same standards for determining the number of agents required to protect presidents, vice presidents, and major presidential and vice presidential candidates.
So, no, because she already has presidential level as the vice president.
Yes.
I mean, that's a nice little side bonus for the Secret Service in that they don't have to spend more money if it's the VP who's running.
That's true. Yep.
Although they do have to spend more because they have to travel with the VP who is going to be traveling because she's just going. She is just bouncing back and forth between these states. I swear to God, she was just here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, who was it? Tim Walz was on Stewart on The Daily Show, and Stewart was like, is this your first time outside of a battleground state? And he's like, it's been a while. He's like,
meanwhile, Trump is going to go play at Madison Square Garden.
He was actually supposed to be up in Traverse City yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, he actually was up in Traverse City, but he was supposed to be at Traverse City at 7:30. But he was recording the podcast with Joe Rogan, and that took 3 hours. So he didn't leave Texas until I think 8 or 9. So he didn't get up to Traverse City
and getting to Traverse.
No, he got up to Traverse City at 10 something. I'm like, really? If I was gonna have to sit in an airport hangar for 3 hours, I would have noped out of there so fast. Be like, oh, he's not gonna be here until after 10. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there were people in town who I've Facebook friends with. Actually, one of my former coworkers was in line for the because you can RSVP, but they only do the RSVPs for head counts. Mm-hmm. The RSVP doesn't actually guarantee you a spot.
Right.
So I think, let's see, when was the first picture of her in line? Okay. She started heading over there at 10 a.m. So she got in line at 10 a.m. The line was long. Mm-hmm. Oh, crap. They're already down. Okay, so this picture from 10 a.m., they are... Hold on, let me just tell you how long this line was to get in, because I know exactly what intersection she was standing at, and that's not near the Wings Event Center. Okay, so let's see. Wings Event Center, measure distance. Okay, so they were coming in that entrance. The line was 2,000 feet long at 10 a.m. and the event didn't start until after 3.
Damn. So they're 5 hours ahead of it, and it's already
2,000 feet long.
Third of a mile?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. So, that was going on today. Western's homecoming was also today as well. So
how did Western fare in their homecoming?
They were playing against Kent State.
Yes,
because I do believe Kent State is still the only winless team in all of college football right now.
Division I, probably.
Yes, Division I. I do believe they are the only team. Yep, 0-8.
Oof. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. Michigan had a season that wasn't far off from that.
But I think they are now. Just the football. All right, let's see standings. Can I see all of the standings?
You can see standings.
Yeah. Okay. Big Sky. There's two teams that are 1-6, 1-7. CAA. There's one team that's 1-7. The Independents are both 4 wins. Ivy League Penn is at 2-4. Mid-Eastern. There's Dell State at 1-7. Missouri Valley. Murray State is 1-7. Northeast. St. Francis is 2-6. Patriot League. Oh, Fordham. Fordham is 0-8 in the Patriot League.
I don't know what the Patriot League is.
I don't know. I've never heard of Fordham either. Well, it's okay. Holy Cross, Georgetown, Lehigh, Bucknell, Colgate, Lafayette, Fordham. So this is all the religious schools.
Mm-hmm. And are the Patriot League.
Fordham Rams football.
Except the religious schools. A bit of irony there.
Who else is? Anybody else? 0-8. Okay, so yeah. There's a team in the Pioneer League, Marist, that is 0-8.
Who came up with these?
Southern League,
Patriot League, Pioneer League.
The Southern League, VMI is 0-8. Oh wait, I'm not looking at this. I'm looking at the wrong level, aren't I? I'm looking at FCS. I'm supposed to be looking at FBS?
BS. Football Bowl Series.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Okay, so FBS. UAB is 1-6. The ACC is, I have to scroll. Florida State is 1-7. Big 12. Lowest is like a 3-5. Oklahoma State. Purdue is 1-6.
Oof. Not great for the Boilermakers.
UTEP is 1-7. Independence, they're all okay. MAC, yep. Kent State 0-8. Air Force is 1-6. Pac-12 is literally just 2 teams.
It's because half of them are in the Big Ten and the other half are in the SEC.
Mississippi State is 1-7, and Southern Miss is 1-7 as well. So yes, okay. So in the FBS, Kent State is the only team that has not won a game. So
how badly did Western clean them up?
It was a lot, 52-21.
That is a high-scoring game.
Yes, the over/under was 61, so Western even beat that. So. Western almost covered the whole over-under by themselves.
Jesus. Michigan beat Michigan State.
Oh, good.
I was a little worried when I turned it on and saw the score of 7-0 Michigan State.
Eastern lost to Akron. Dang it. Puts them now at like third or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Because they're 2-2 in the conference.
Dog. Gross. Sorry. I wasn't saying dog like, hey, dog, yo.
No, you were talking
the gross comment wasn't about the football scores. It was literally, my dog is gross.
Yeah, well, he is a dog.
He is a dog.
Well,
yes.
Should we do topics?
We probably should before I fall asleep because I'm getting really tired.
Oh,
I don't know why I'm so tired, but I'm really tired right now. Just like... I got pizza in my belly, and I got Spindrift, and it's cold. And I'm just like, I could just take a nap right here.
Well, if it is cold, your body, if your body temperature is dropping, that's one of your indicators to sleep. So,
well, my body is indeed going, hey, maybe just like, don't. What? No, just maybe like... close your eyes. Just close them. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, should we talk about a math topic to get you in?
There's a new prime number. Woo! I mean, there's an infinite. Well, we haven't proven that there's an infinite number of primes. We're pretty sure there's an infinite number of primes. Have they proven that? They have to have proven that. Proof of infinite primes. Euclid's theorem, proven by Euclid, because of course it was, that there are an infinite number of primes. Right, you do this one by contradiction. Consider any finite list of prime numbers, then there must be at least one additional prime number in the list. Because if you multiply all of them and then add one, either Q is prime or it's not. If it's prime, then ta-da, you're done. If it's not prime, then it has to have a prime factor, and if P were in the list, then it would divide by P, but it can't because it's bigger than like that. We already did that. So yeah, since no prime numbers divide 1, P cannot be in the list, but it has to be in the list, which means doesn't work.
Right. So 6 years ago, the largest prime number was 2 to the let's see if I can read this right. 82,589,933 minus 1. That was 6 years ago. That was the largest prime number that people have discovered so far. So turns out there's a whole great internet Mersenne prime search. So they basically got some new software, figured out a way to use a bunch of GPUs to work.
NVIDIA's having a great year.
Yep. So yeah, they used data center full of GPUs and figured out the newest one, which is 2 to the 136,279,841 minus 1. So, yeah, it is 41 million digits long.
Yep, it's a big number. It's a big number.
So, what good is extremely large prime numbers?
Security.
Okay.
Andy, you do know how modern cryptographic security works, right?
It's something about multiplying two extremely large numbers together.
Well, it's generally it's about multiplying two extremely large
prime numbers.
Gotcha. Together.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we found a new one. Only took us 6 years. Well, he started, let's see, the guy who discovered it joined actually in 2023. So he didn't actually start looking at it for like a year. Somebody had written the software to test for these prime numbers. And the guy put his software out there for all the GIMPs to use. Really? That's what they're calling themselves? The GIMPs?
The Great Internet Mersenne Prime Search.
Yep. GIMPs. Okay. GIMPs. So he joined the GIMPs in 2023 and then built the infrastructure in the data center to use the software and then let it run for about a year. And lo and behold, he found it. So
Now, here's the interesting thing. This compared to the previous largest, there's this huge gap, right?
Yes.
There could be a lot of primes in between them. It's not that this is the next prime number.
No, this one, because
we found a new prime number.
Yes. Because this one seems to be very easy to calculate. 2 to the
136,279,841 minus 1.
Yes. It looks like a very simple math. You just have to run a lot of computations against it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say it's simple math, because you're getting into number theory, and once you're in number theory, simple takes on a very different definition.
For a second
Prove that this number is prime. Shit. Is it divisible by 2? No. Is it divisible by 3? No. Is it divisible by 5? No. This is going to take a long time.
So you have to basically just check to make sure if it's divisible by any other previous prime number.
Well, except to do that, you'd have to know all the prime numbers up to that. Well, up to half that thing.
Up to half?
Yeah.
Okay, you lost me on that part.
Andy, if I ask you whether or not, let's say, 7 is prime,
yes,
how many numbers do you need to check?
1.
Just list them out.
You need
Go
to check.
ahead.
You need to check against 2.
Yep.
You need to check against 3.
Yep.
You need to check. That's it.
Well, technically, I think you should check 4. Except it can't be divisible by 4 because it's not divisible by 2.
Well, why not check it against?
5 times any other available number is already going to be greater than 7.
Oh yeah, because we're looking at integers,
and you've already eliminated 2.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay. Now I get it.
Okay. But even so, that's not how they're validating that it's prime, right?
Yeah.
At least I hope not. There's got to be a better way to validate if something is prime.
Well, you can dig into that one. I just thought this was a fun topic of a really big number.
It's a huge number. To be clear, this is an incomprehensibly big number. Like, there are large numbers, and then there's large numbers. I mean, there's still, like, way, way larger, but, like, I think 2 to the 80th is like the number of atoms in the universe.
I was just about to look that up. I'm literally typing how many atoms are in the
I think it's 2 to the 80th.
10 to the 78th.
Oh, 10 to the 80th. This is 2 to the 136 millionth.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It is like orders of magnitude doesn't even come close. It's a different kind of number when it's that big.
Yep.
Just fucking ridiculous. But yeah, good on that NVIDIA engineer.
Well, let's see what else we got here. Anything?
It's a good year for engineers because a Microsoft engineer figured out that one Linux hack before it actually got out. NVIDIA engineer figured out a new prime number.
Oh, he was a former NVIDIA engineer.
Yeah. A former video game designer won a Nobel Prize. Did we talk about that?
No, we did not. I
remember if we talked about that last week.
We did not talk about the Nobel Prizes. Why?
The group that won the Nobel Prize for, I think, biology for AlphaFold.
Wait, the guys who did AlphaFold won the Nobel Prize?
I believe so. Oh, it's for chemistry.
So a computer scientist won...
3, actually.
3 computer scientists won the Nobel Prize for chemistry.
Yep, for artificial intelligence, honestly. I mean, they probably are also chemists, but they got the Nobel for it, and one of them is a former game designer who I believe worked on Black and White.
Okay, so biochemist David Baker won half the prize, while 2 of the DeepMind folks won the other half. So the 2 DeepMind were recognized for their use of AI to predict protein structures. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Okay, yep. John Jumper is a chemist and computer scientist. Okay, so...
And Professor Demis Hassabis began his programming career working for Bullfrog and was the AI designer from Black and White.
Wow.
And now has a Nobel Prize.
I did not have
chemistry.
I did not have that in my my bingo card.
No?
No.
Game designer wins Nobel Prize in chemistry?
Yep. Nope, did not have that one.
Nope. Yeah, that's a thing. Also, I watched the Ig Nobels today.
Oh, forgot those were going on.
It's in September, usually.
Did we not post anything about that?
I don't think we did.
Oh.
We can talk about the list of winners, though. It was pretty cool. Some of them.
2024. Okay, yeah, it took place on Thursday, September 12th.
Mm-hmm. At MIT instead of Harvard.
It's a little bit of a switch.
Yep.
Okay, so there was one for finding that scalp hair whorls are more likely to spiral in a counterclockwise direction in the southern hemisphere compared to the northern hemisphere.
Biology was awarded posthumously for repeatedly exploding paper bags next to a cat that was standing on the back of a cow and finding that it caused the cow to produce less milk. This one was cute. The botany one. They found that certain plants imitate the leaf shape of nearby plastic plants, which implies that the plants have some way of seeing that.
What? Okay.
Yup. But, like, they don't know how. They don't know why. But, they are asking for more money to fund their study. He actually said, like, I just got my PhD. I'm kind of looking for someone to, hire me. A group won for the chromatography to separate drunk worms from sober worms.
I feel like that is, you need to make sure you do not have drunk worms, I guess, messing up your experiments.
That is not at all why they did it, but sure. A guy found that the oldest living people tend to come from areas that have really bad government tracking of things like birth certificates.
That actually, I've seen that a couple of times where people, it's like, oh, this is the oldest person we think. Don't know for sure, but that's what they think. Yeah.
The Ig Nobel Prize for medicine was given to a group for finding that fake medicine with painful side effects is more effective than fake medicine without painful side effects.
Wait, fake medicine that has painful side effects can be more effective than fake medicine that doesn't cause painful...
Put capsaicin in your placebo. And it will be more effective.
That is actually Listerine, the mouthwash.
Yeah.
Has something in it to cause the burn. Yes, because people think the burn means it's actually working.
I hate that.
Listerine has...
But according to this, that means that it actually does work better. Physics was this guy who did a study on how dead trout can swim.
Wait, what?
So he said, like, I wanted to, I did the study, live trout swim better than dead trout. Cool. But if you take a dead trout and you put it on a stick, you put it on a line and drag it from a stick, it swims. It doesn't. In fact, what happens is the water swims the trout.
Okay.
But like all of the mechanics are there, right? It still has all the fins. They're still creating lift and thrust, and like it's moving just because the water is moving around it.
Huh. Well, No, I can see that.
One person has won both an Ig Nobel and a Nobel Prize.
What?
He won the Ig Nobel for magnetically levitating live frogs, and then 10 years later won the Nobel Prize in Physics for groundbreaking experiments regarding graphene. Interesting.
There's one for the experimenting to see if people can breathe through their anus.
Not people, but certain mammals.
Okay.
They found that certain mammals were able to breathe through their anus.
Okay, now here, though, it says they actually began the work in the COVID crisis when many hospitals were desperately short of mechanical ventilators to support breathing in people with severe infections. Well, that's one. If you're running out of ventilators, I guess.
What do you literally blow air up someone's ass? I don't know where you're trying to go with that, Andy.
I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to see if...
Andy, you still need a machine to, like, pump air up someone's ass.
Yeah.
The problem with COVID wasn't that, like, they couldn't breathe through their mouth. It's that the lungs weren't working.
Yeah. Oh, the team is running a phase 1 trial in human volunteers right now.
Pass. Just pass. No, thank you.
They're literally going to try blowing smoke up your butt.
Well, not smoke, because then you choke.
Yeah, that's true. Could you choke by having somebody literally blow smoke up?
Putting smoke up your ass?
Yeah.
No, but it's probably still not great for you.
Probably not. Well, then, okay, that's,
Those are the eggs.
Well, something that might be an ig. This is kind of silly. So there is a group in Europe. It was actually a team of students performed Europe's first rocket hop test. So they were kind of like doing Star Hopper, where they were trying to take a little rocket and go up in the air and then have it land back down again, right?
Sure.
So no private company or space agency in Europe had ever performed a rocket hop test before. So this group of, I think it was from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, successfully performed a hop test with their rocket prototype on October 18th. They, the group was called, though, the Gruyere Space Program. So they thought, hey, let's put a slice of cheese on the rocket as like a little calling card sort of thing there, right?
Sure. I mean, that's cute.
Well, it turns out that slice of cheese almost caused a disaster.
How so?
It was causing an arrow effect that led to the rocket overspinning.
Wait, they didn't take into account how the cheese would be like aerodynamically impactful
on the rocket. Yes.
on a rocket. Guys, it's not rocket science. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, come on. It's aerodynamics and weight so that it almost, threw the rocket off kilter?
Yes.
Overspinning.
Yep. Almost lost roll control of the rocket in flight due to the slice of cheese.
Jesus Christ, guys. That said, kudos for launching a rocket and having it hop.
Yeah, and having it come down and land. So
that's very important, and more organizations should be looking at that.
Yep, they launched to an altitude of 105 meters, and then it used a F-100 rocket engine to launch and land. So
damn, that's cool.
So they're like, yeah, the cheese almost made us lose the rocket, but we learned a lot because of it. Well, yeah. I'm glad your rocket did not blow up because of your cheese. Man, could you imagine if your rocket flew out of control because of the slice of cheese?
Yeah. Although I just watched the whole thing and it didn't look like they lost control at any point. So good for them.
So it's kind of sad though that is the epitome of the European rocket program.
Well, I mean, it's a private group.
Yep.
It's not the European Space Agency.
Now, what's ESA is what? Ariane 6? I don't even know where that's at right now. Okay, so Ariane, is that currently in use?
I think so.
First flight July 9th, 2024. Okay, so yes, it is the current launch vehicle for the EU. Other space news, though.
Yes.
So Boeing
had
their recent
stranding astronauts in space.
No, their shareholders.
Oh, okay.
Thing there, and the new CEO.
Did someone ask how we could have gotten to the point where Boeing stranded astronauts in space?
Well, the company announced during the call that, the quarterly loss of $6 billion and the fact that the union did not approve the latest offer from the company for a contract. So they're continuing to strike.
Losing them even more money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
So article came out in the Wall Street Journal citing unnamed sources, but that Boeing is looking to spin off and sell a lot of its space program, including Starliner.
But who's going to want to buy it?
The article states that Blue Origin were the ones they were talking to.
No, Bezos wouldn't be that dumb, right? Right?
Well, Bezos is working on a rocket, right?
Yeah, but he already launched. Come on.
Well, the new Glenn hasn't actually launched yet, but there actually is a picture that just came out there with Blue Origin's first New Glenn booster has had all 7 of its rocket engines installed and is, hopefully going to launch late this year, early next year.
Again, I know I keep harping on this, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter except for the Greer group. If your rocket isn't reusable, I don't care how good it is.
I thought the New Glenn was supposed to be reusable.
Is it reusable?
I thought that's what they were planning on doing.
New Glenn, each BE4 engine is reusable. Yeah, okay, cool. Then never mind. I take it back. I am excited for this.
Yeah, they landing platform Vessel 1, which looks really similar to SpaceX's drone ships, just bigger. Yeah, it's also, I think that's also over at Port Canaveral as well. There's got to be a picture of the two of them next to each other. Yeah, no, it looks like a drone ship, just bigger with more stuff on it. So yes, the New Glenn is supposed to be reusable as well.
Yep. Okay.
But the question then becomes, does Blue Origin buy Starliner?
Why? What do they get from that other than the contracts? And that's just, they'd get the contracts for cheaper if they just let them go out of business. I don't see it making sense for them to buy Starliner.
I feel like, Boeing probably wants to try and get rid of it because they need to cut their losses and run.
Yep. Here's the thing. As the only thing I could think of for why they'd want to buy something like that is if there are patents that come with it.
Which I don't think there are for something like that.
There might be. I mean, of all the kinds of like industries that are going to generate new patents, I feel like rockets are pretty high on that list.
Well, yeah, but Boeing doesn't do rockets.
Well, rockets and rocketry and rocket adjacent things.
Yeah, unless Boeing's also trying to get rid of the ULA, which I don't know if they can do that because that's a team up with Lockheed Martin.
No, they can't. They could step out of it, but the ULA would still exist.
Do you think Blue Origin would try and get into the ULA?
No.
No, because they've already got a rocket. Why go to the ULA in their Atlas? No, it's not the Atlas V. What is ULA's? Jeez. Everybody's got their own little rocket with their own little thing.
And none of them are compatible.
Oh, the Vulcan. Okay. Which successfully completed its maiden flight earlier this year, except I think the recent Vulcan flight actually had one of the rocket nozzles just fall off.
Oops.
Was that a Vulcan rocket that had it fall off?
I could not answer that, Andy.
Yep. ULA is examining debris recovered from Vulcan rocket's shattered booster nozzle. The nozzle of the booster on the left side failed less than a minute after launch. Okay. Despite the nozzle failure, the rocket actually reached its planned trajectory. So, at least it got up there without a problem. But still, having your rocket fall apart during flight, not the greatest. Oh, I don't have this on the topics, though, but they've already been doing some static fires for Flight 6 for Starship. They haven't officially announced what the new plan is, but a lot of people are speculating that they're going to try and do a Starship relight in space as Flight 6.
Ooh.
So they might keep the same profile, but they want to test about relighting the Starship engines in space just to make sure that they can do that. And then if they can do that, then I think Flight 7, they're going to start looking at doing the whole meeting up in space and doing a propellant transfer.
So I was one mission off.
Yes, you were one mission off with the propellant transfer.
One mission profile off. It's the relight that they want to do first.
Yes, they want to try to do another catch because according to a random tweet by Elon, I guess he was playing a game and one of his engineers was talking to him while he was playing a game and he was live streaming it. And I guess Starship came like a second away from not actually attempting the catch and just going for a crash landing in the water because something didn't spin up in time.
Mm.
So they're going to try another catch for Flight 6. And then just try a relight in space. And then try another landing. They're redoing more of the heat shield as well. Yeah. Because it worked better, but there were still some problems, yeah.
Still problems, but not like, oh my god, the guidance fin just disintegrated. Oops.
Yes, not like a flesh wound sort of thing.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I'm thinking about that. And thinking about materials and material sciences, and it's kind of unfortunate that the metal that heats the best would be terrible to use. Because you could make them out of tungsten. And they'd be able to handle a lot more heat. But also they'd be 5 times heavier.
Yeah, that wouldn't... Yeah, I don't think that would work.
Is there a tungsten titanium alloy?
Could you make a tungsten aerogel? Would that work? Is that even a...
No, I'm pretty sure that would not. There is a tungsten titanium alloy. Typically 80 to 95% tungsten.
That's still a lot of tungsten.
It's going to be very heavy. Probably not something you want on a rocket ship. Tungsten has the highest melting point of all metallic elements and a density comparable to that of uranium or gold.
All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a stretch here, but I've got 2 top pieces of news out of Southeast Asia. And I was just thinking how Starship, crash lands in Southeast Asia right now. Well, not really crash lands, but that's where their controlled splashdown is.
Sure, yeah.
the country of Singapore is looking to get clean energy from Australia.
Okay.
By...
I mean, that's not too far away.
By putting an undersea cable 4,300 kilometers.
I assume it's going to be alternating current then.
I hope so.
Because if that's direct current, you're going to lose a lot of power over that cable.
They are going to build a solar farm in Australia with a solar generation capacity somewhere between 17 to 20 gigawatts.
Okay.
With battery storage on site. And then, they're going to put...
Well, yeah, I mean, that part makes sense.
Yes.
The one thing, if you were to say that Singapore was short on any one thing, physical space is that thing.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Australia is very empty, like very empty. So yeah, cool. Let's build a giant solar field out in the desert in Australia.
Send it 800 kilometers to the edge of Australia, and then
a giant undersea cable.
Yes, that is expected to supply up to 4 gigawatts of 24/7 solar energy. Well, solar and battery energy.
That's solar energy.
Yep.
It's just a battery storage.
To Singapore.
4 gigawatts. A 4 gigawatt solar field? How big is that field going to be?
12,000 hectares, which is 29,650 acres.
That still doesn't tell me anything.
Let's see.
About 40 to 50 square kilometers.
I was trying to see. Does that tell me in kilometers? No, it doesn't.
I mean, you have it in hectares, right?
Yes.
Just go to Wolfram Alpha and plug that in.
Okay, so that's 120 square kilometers.
How many hectares did it say?
12,000.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's about the size of the District of Columbia.
Yep. Interesting.
So they're going to build a solar...
My AI gave me a different answer.
Yep, 29,652 acres. Yep, 29,650 acres. Well, around.
Oh,
okay.
I'm not. Is this from the article?
I'm reading from one of the other articles about it.
Okay. I'm not including the batteries.
Oh.
Or like the support buildings that would need to be made. I'm looking at just the solar field.
Oh, okay. No, I was looking at the one of the project pages.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so the actual solar field is... okay, gotcha.
The solar field, according to this, which again is an AI, so like grain of salt, would be about half the size of the total thing.
Okay.
But it is including the fact that Australia gets approximately 5 to 6 kilowatt hours per square meter per day.
That's pretty good.
And a solar panel efficiency of about 20%.
Well, yeah, depends on... Well, granted,
Depends on your panels.
Yep, depends on the panels. And there's some new stuff coming out there that's a little bit different, but still pretty efficient.
Yep.
I have been sitting here long enough that my watch has thought that I have gone to sleep because it has the automatic, sleep tracking.
Yep.
No, I am not sleeping right now.
Are you sleepy deepy?
No. Well, okay. So other thing here is Malaysia wants to really get into esports. So the Malaysian government has allocated, 3.58 million pounds, which is somewhere in the $4 million range.
Maybe pounds are not worth what they used to be.
Let's see.
Probably $4 million.
Yeah, $4.64 million. The Malaysian government is investing over $4 million.
Call it $5 million.
Okay.
Just under $5 million.
Sure. We'll say just under $5 million to develop the esports industry
in Malaysia.
Could you imagine seeing, with Congress going over our budget, what kind of...
What is this? What is this? $5 million for video games.
Yeah, no. The people would have a field day with that.
Look, $5 million.
I know, and especially
in the U.S. budget
would be nothing.
Is a footnote. That is a rounding error. I don't think anyone, someone would have to take a fine-tooth comb to look for that.
So, yes, the country's Department of Finance is allocated to primarily help expand the country's local esports scene, including the development of infrastructure, talent development, and the grassroots ecosystem and support of esport careers.
Nice.
A national esports center is to be created, allowing players and teams to organize boot camps and events.
They will make that money back so quickly.
Yes.
So quickly. Esports is just like shockingly invested. How many people go to like the League World Champions?
I don't know.
Oh my God, a lot. Jesus Christ. 2025 World Championship will take place in China.
Okay, so let's see.
2024 took place in 3 cities, Berlin, Paris, and London.
Okay, so one.
How many people went to it?
300 and we'll say 300. Okay, so I looked it up. The Malaysian budget for this year is approximately $78.2 billion.
Okay.
So
this is 5 million.
Yes.
Out of 78 billion.
Yes.
1 million out of 1 billion is 1,000th.
Yep.
So 1 million out of 70, like it's negligible.
Yes. I was just curious to see what their budget was for the year.
It's less than 0.1% of the budget.
Oh, they're also raising their minimum wage this year, it seems, too.
Oh, good. Good for them.
So, but yes, no, the Malaysian government wants to improve esports in the country. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this list that you want to hit?
DMCA and retro games.
Yes, the Library of Congress sided with the ESA and said that asking for an exemption to share internet accessible emulated versions of physical games is a no-go.
So they wanted to say, like, we have a physical game and we'd like to let someone play it, but play the emulated version of it on the internet.
Yes, because
we still have the physical game that it represents.
Yes.
And LOC said no.
No, because the ESA argued that the proposed remote access could serve as a legal loophole for a free-to-access online arcade that could harm the market for classic game re-releases.
If you were to ever re-release the game.
Yes. Because, that recent study found that 87% of these older games are currently out of print and unable to,
And, like, some of them are dead.
Yeah.
Where the copyright owner does not exist anymore.
Yep. What was it a song that I was doing for... I think there was like a song that I was doing for Soul and Ensemble, and I was trying to hunt down who the copyright owner was in order for something like that, and we just could not. Oh, because I had borrowed a copy from the library, but you needed to give the original document, so a non-copied version of the music to the judge. And we, for the life of us, could not find anything out about this piece of music because the copyright owner was bought by somebody else who was then bought by somebody else who went bankrupt and then was picked up by somebody else. I was spending more time trying to find the actual copyright owner of this music than actually practicing the music.
Yep.
And finally, we just said, screw it. And we just checked out the copy from the U of M music library and then did some annotations on the thing in pencil, gave it to him. The judge, made a little aside about it, but let me do the thing. And then, I think I got a 1 on that one. So that was good. It's still trying to find copyrights on old stuff. Pain in the ass. So yes. So the Library of Congress said that no go on emulating. But the Copyright Office, again, the Library of Congress, has granted an exemption specifically allowing for repair of retail-level food preparation equipment, including soft-serve ice cream machines similar to those available at McDonald's.
So McDonald's now has the right to repair?
Well, there's a whole thing about these...
Didn't we talk about, some third party was going around and repairing McDonald's ice cream machines?
Yes. And the company that built them, I think it was Taylor or something like that.
Yeah, and it was for all the franchisees.
Yes.
They loved it, and corporate was like, no!
Yes. Corporate came down and said, you must use you must use Taylor as your repair service for this box. And there was a whole thing about Taylor, like, trying to act like a franchisee in order to get their hands on the hardware and software from this third party. To try and, go, oh, these guys are actually doing a good thing. Let's try and steal their equipment and make our own version of it. Which, yeah. But Library of Congress has ruled that the DMCA has an exemption now for repairing these.
Yay.
Because there was like an actual lock on there and copyrighted stuff there. Public Knowledge and iFixit jointly petitioned to repair for a repair exemption. So
yeah, definitely.
There is now an exemption.
That's their thing.
Yep. Now, the recommendation was a narrower exemption than what they had proposed, but they still granted an exemption. So
an exemption is an exemption.
Yep. So now hopefully there will be more third-party people to fix McFlurry machines and other ice cream machines at McDonald's. And that just means more ice cream for everybody, right?
Yay. More ice cream.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes the Library of Congress taketh away, and sometimes the Library of Congress giveth. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Anything else on the list? SAG-AFTRA
says that more than 120 games from 49 companies have signed the updated contract that SAG-AFTRA is trying to go for.
The no AIs?
Yes.
Good for them.
So they're still technically on strike, but there are plenty of video game developers who have said, no, you sound okay. We are going to agree with your temporary terms.
To your demands.
Yes.
Cool.
So,
I think I'm good then.
Okay. Well then, random review is yours this week.
I would like to review a large language model.
Which one? Gemini?
Claude.
Llama?
Claude.
ChatGPT?
Claude AI.
I was trying to think of a fourth LLM that I knew off the top of my head.
NVIDIA's.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Which should have been a topic, actually. We kind of ignored that. NVIDIA just announced their own LLM, and they uploaded the model to Hugging Face, and I think, they exposed their training data. They said, here's the model, here's the data, here's everything.
Huh.
Was the for NVIDIA, or because you've gone over to Claude AI?
No, it was for NVIDIA. I'm looking over their announcement on this.
Yeah.
All right. So Claude...
it's pretty big because, NVIDIA makes the chips.
Yes.
So if they're getting into the LLM market as yeah, we did this too, shit. That's a vertical monopoly. They don't have to buy their own chips.
Nope.
Everyone else has to buy NVIDIA's chips.
Yep.
NVIDIA can just say, half of this next production run goes straight back into the company. It doesn't even go to retail.
Which would drive up the price for everybody else.
Yep, and make NVIDIA even more money.
Yep.
So Claude AI is an artificial intelligence LLM generative large language model from Anthropic. And it was designed more geared towards development. So whatever tweaks they've made, whatever settings they put into their model, Claude is more geared towards development. Now, the model, of course, is one part. The agent, which is the interaction with the model, is another. And so their agent is actually really freaking good. I asked it, as I mentioned, I said, hey, how big would a solar field in Australia need to be to generate 4 gigawatts? And it came out and it said, based on the calculations, here's what Australia does, how much solar energy they get per day. Here's this. It outlined its thoughts in a diagram and provides the code for the diagram. Its agent, I presume you have it open, Andy, because it is free. Well, there is a free tier to it.
Yeah, and it would have to the process of signing up right now.
Okay. If you ask it for simple code, it generates the code. If you ask it for simple web code, it generates the web page. So you can ask it to help you design a basic web page, and poof, the web page is on the screen with you.
Hold on, I've got to send in a verification code. There we go. All right. Hello, I'm Claude. All right, sure. This is a bit weird. Okay. I'm not perfect. Well, no shit.
You're an LLM.
Yep.
We understand that.
Okay. Well, it seems pretty straightforward here. Oh, well, that's good. I asked it for an ISBN number, and it gave me one, but it says, however, I should mention that I don't have access to a definitive database of ISBN, so you should verify this number from an official source.
There you go. I've really liked it. I've really enjoyed using it. It also has this idea of a project where you can have multiple chats that refer to the same set of instructions or files. So you can start a prompt and say here's the basis for the project. And then you can start a bunch of other prompts all based on that one thing. Or, hey, here's a couple files for my project. Now, go help me use these files to improve the project. The other thing that they just announced this week is the computer use. So they are going to have the LLM, with your permission, use computer vision and the knowledge of operating systems to interact with your computer.
Okay.
Right? We're giving it hands. We're giving it hands, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I'm staring at this Copilot in the bottom corner of my Windows desktop right now. Yep. I know that ChatGPT has a Windows app now, so...
Yep.
Well, what is
some UI elements like drop-downs and scroll bars might be tricky for Claude to manipulate using mouse movements. If you experience this, try prompting the model to use keyboard shortcuts. Man, this is terrifying.
Well, what's the difference between the pro account and... Do you have the pro account, or are you just on the free account?
I do have a pro account.
Okay. What is...
the pro account... So I used the free account for a while and then started getting a, basically a rate limit. They were saying, sorry, we're getting too many messages right now. Try again. And I was working on a thing, actively working on a thing. And so I said, screw it. And I bought the pro account. The only downside so far is there isn't a deep integration into VS Code the same way that there is for Copilot. At least none that I've found so far.
I see. Can I change the color of the screen? Appearance. Dark. Well, that's okay. That's a little bit better. Looks a little weird, though. Or is that just me?
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me pause Flux for a second just to make sure it's not. Okay, so yeah, no, it's still got that weird beige.
What are you looking at?
I have Claude in the daylight mode or light mode for appearance. And it's not white. It's got that paperish beige color as the background.
And you don't like that?
No.
You could ask Claude how to write a user script that would change that.
Oh, I can upload an image. What happens if I upload an image? What images do I have currently available? All right, let's see. Well, damn. I had a random picture of a Mercedes-Benz station wagon doing a drift on a race course.
Okay.
This image shows a Mercedes-Benz W123 station wagon, often called an estate or T-model, performing a drift maneuver on what appears to be a racetrack or drift course. Yeah, no, you figured that out. The car has a silver beige color scheme and appears to be from early 1980s. No, it is. It is somewhat unusual and entertaining to see a classic Mercedes wagon, typically associated with practical family transport, being used for drifting. Yeah, no, he is correct.
You are correct, sir.
Yep, I will give that a thumbs up. That was a good one. Okay, there we go. So this one seems to be good. This will give me another option to check other than ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot.
There's a lot of them.
Yes, there is.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, here's another one for people to look at. So, all right, should we go to the random topic?
Yes.
All right, random topic rolled ahead of time. New Jersey versus Iowa. Which one will float best in the Indian Ocean? Are you asking Claude this question?
Yes.
Just ask Claude. We'll wait.
Interesting decisions.
Okay.
So before I haven't looked at its response yet, other than the very first response. So my eyes are closed. This is me, not Claude. How far down?
That's an excellent question.
Because like both Jersey and Iowa are sitting on the continental shelf.
Yes.
So like how much of that are we dropping? It is solid rock down to the mantle. How much of this are we dropping on the Indian Ocean?
I don't know. That's
Now will they float? Like, it's not even a question, will they float better? Will they float given the density of rock? Like, islands don't float.
No.
So which would float better is, like, neither. They will sink. But Jersey probably has more boats. I bet you there are more boats in New Jersey than there are in Iowa.
Like, yeah, do we take just the topsoil or the subsoil or... Okay, so the thing that I was thinking of was the fact that the coastal region of New Jersey is sand. You drop the coast of New Jersey in the water, it's sand.
Right.
So that's not gonna float.
But like...
Right?
Sure. Yeah. No more or less than any other rock, since sand is just rock.
Well, I'm thinking, I looked it up. Mollisols covers about like 70% of Iowa. Mollisol's a very organic, rich type of soil. It's almost like a peat sort of thing there. Okay. Peat can float because there's a lot of volume and not a lot of density. So the more organic material you have in the soil, the less dense it is, if I'm remembering my geology.
Sure.
So I'm going to say that Iowa has a larger quantity of soil that could possibly be less dense than what is in New Jersey. Because New Jersey's, you've got sand, you've got clay, you've got rock, and you do have some actual like organic soil.
Right.
But because, it is the garden state. But
Iowa's like heartland, farmland.
Yes.
The breadbasket of America.
Yeah.
For a reason.
There's a lot of really good organic soil in Iowa.
I aim to interpret this playful question in a scientific way. Let's think about what would make a state float better, and then it conducts an analysis. It says New Jersey has an area of 8,722 square miles, average elevation of 250 feet, has the population. And then says, assuming mostly sedimentary rock composition, 2.5 grams per centimeters cubed. Looking at Iowa, gives the stats, etc. Then it converts the areas and heights to volumes, calculates the mass, calculates the density relative to water. Based on some rough calculations, Iowa would float slightly better than New Jersey in the Indian Ocean. Here's why. It's less dense, as you said. Mm-hmm. However, I should note that neither state would actually float, since both have densities well above that of seawater. They would both sink rather dramatically. Iowa would just sink a tiny bit slower.
You see, it took you an AI. I'm sitting here by myself, just reading.
No, I kind of had the same, like... Jersey is a coastal city. It's next to Manhattan. It's mostly rock.
Yep. Rock and sand.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here just, reading about the 5 main soil types of New Jersey due to what company is this?
The USGS, maybe?
No, they're doing soil testing and structural inspection. Okay. Out of Jersey City. There we go. There's their main office is in Jersey City.
Sounds good.
So they sound like they've got an idea of Jersey soil. So
yeah, like neither will float.
No.
They are land masses. They're gonna sink.
Yes, but Iowa is the best.
Question, in my opinion, is what would it take to float Jersey and Iowa in the Indian Ocean?
What would happen when they do sink in the Indian Ocean is huge, so it's probably not going to matter too much.
No. Are you worried about, like, the Indian Ocean will raise by, like,
a millimeter.
An inch.
Yeah. It's like, what happens to the rest of the, like, yeah, depending on how far you dig down, like, what happens to all the states around Iowa?
That is also an interesting question.
Like, do people in, like...
Do we just expose the mantle?
I don't know. Like, do we suddenly have more coastline now that New Jersey is gone? Are New Yorkers happy or sad that New Jersey is now gone?
Since a lot of them live in Jersey, New York just like ran into some problems.
Yes. Is
Now we're
Pennsylvania
looking at the
happy
Randall
about this?
Monroe, like XKCD side of like, well, wait a minute. You just took New Jersey away. That's a lot of people's home.
Yeah.
I still like my answer that there are boats in Jersey. There are more boats in Jersey than there are in Iowa.
Yes. They're not.
So since those are they're like associated with the state, those would float better.
Well, depends on how many boats are in the Mississippi at the time. But you.
Oh yeah, Mississippi does border Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
There gotta be more boats in Jersey. Even
Probably.
then.
Well, yeah, because
Like,
you've got frickin'.
It's the coast.
Yeah. Where are the major ports in New Jersey? Are there major ports?
in New Jersey?
Yeah.
The port of New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably right there. Well, while I'm here, let me just go down to the picture of the Statue of Liberty and then see if they've got the state lines. No, they don't. Or is it Ellis Island? Is Ellis Island? Yep, there it is. There's the weird-ass lines about who owns what part of Ellis Island.
Mm-hmm.
So weird.
And Liberty Island. All right, I think that's it, Andy. It's
Oh, yep,
midnight
there,
here.
yep, there they are, right there on Liberty Island as well. Yep, all right. Well, I guess on that little trip, that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.